This is News Today with Kirsty Meyer.
Hi, Kirsty here. Some exciting news about News Today later, but first, today's news. A group of illicit black plate taxis have cut a deal to pick up passengers at Phuket International Airport. So far, just 25 of the 250-member Muk Ardaman taxi group will be allowed to pick up at the airport. After agreeing to pay a quarter of their fare to the airport authority, the 25 drivers will each be registered with the airport and they'll need to show legal green licence plates. The deal is a step towards resolution of a taxi war between black plate cabs and licensed airport limousine drivers that has run for more than a decade. 13 years ago, a black taxi driver beat a limo driver to death with a piece of wood in the airport car park. And if you don't want to take a taxi from the airport, soon it could be possible to take a boat to and from your flights. Phuket's Marine Office has unveiled plans for an L-shaped pier beside Phuket International Airport to provide passenger transport by sea to Patong. The pier will cost around 180 million baht and could be ready in 2 years. The project leaders insist their idea is not to steal passengers from taxis or tuk-tuk drivers, but to lighten the load on the roads and to allow tourists to enjoy the sea view at the same time. Investigators targeting illegal foreign businesses on Phuket have appealed to the public for help. The Department of Special Investigations wants local people to photograph any foreigners working illegally and send them in the pictures. The DSI has also proposed an official Facebook page where pictures and videos of suspected illegal foreigners can be uploaded. Officials held a public meeting in Patong on Thursday where they heard complaints from taxi drivers, tour guides and restaurant owners that illegal foreigners are taking their jobs. Phuket officials have evicted a former Thai Army soldier from Royal Forestry Department land in which the Muang Thong area of Wichit. The farmer has occupied the land for at least 5 years and was ordered by a court to pull down his house and 3 buildings. He was arrested by police on Thursday for failing to comply with the court deadline, and half a dozen Phuket officials cleared his belongings before tearing down the structures. Mr. Som Nuek had claimed that he was developing the land as an organic farm and agricultural centre. He planted fruit trees and kept a bull on the property. From today, the News Today program grows from 5 minutes to 10 minutes as we add interviews and other segments from our other programs here on Phuket News TV. So to kick things off, a preview of the Phuket News, out each Friday and available in over 600 locations. Thanks for joining us.
Welcome to Phuket in Focus on Phuket News TV. Great pleasure to introduce the managing editor of the Phuket News out on the stands today, Simon Ostheimer. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
Front page, a good one, a grisly story though. Our friend Moshi David's turned up again, sort of.
Yeah, this is a story we first picked up on last year when he made the front page. Basically a murder suspect involving a Hungarian businessman. They've now discovered a skeleton underneath his home in Samui, which is suspected to be of another missing Hungarian businessman. So kind of the evidence is very strongly pointing towards his involvement.
And who knows, it could be more skeletons in the closet. Great photo, you've got 2 on the front page.
Yeah, it's taken by Mango, one of our reporters, and you can't really tell it from the image, but it's actually shot through the bars of his jail cell when he was first arrested. Okay. So this is a story that we're definitely going to be keeping on top of in the next few days. And
he's still in jail, of course.
Yeah, well, the thing is with the skeleton, they're DNA testing the bones, because that's all there is, bones and teeth, to see if it is this missing Hungarian businessman. If it is, then obviously the case is going to proceed from there.
Okay. Let's have a talk about another ongoing story, Patong Tunnel.
Yeah, that's actually page 2 lead. Great story. It's to do with the new Patong Tunnel that they're putting in, obviously under the mountain, and there's a lot of problems with that road. Often there's landslips, it collapses, it's impassable, there's accidents. So, a sensible solution, let's just put a tunnel right through the middle. But
these days, a lot easier to do than it was like 20 years ago.
Yeah,
they've got these huge drilling machines and just off they go.
It's just a matter of funding. Obviously, equipment is there. It wouldn't take too long to do. But as maybe is expected, the Patong residents are up in arms about it, claiming they don't want to be moved, they're not going to be compensated properly for the destruction of their property. So now it's kind of on hiatus until these issues can be solved. But it's one of the many infrastructure improvements that Phuket does need. I mean, these underpasses are causing a lot of problems, for motorists, but eventually they're going to help with traffic on the island. Down the line, we have to look forward to perhaps a light rail system, but that could be a pipe dream.
Yes, we'll be in our wheelchairs by then.
Yeah.
I imagine also with the Patong Tunnel story that one is going to probably be sorted out with a little bit of remuneration paid to the locals.
Well, that may be why they're kind of raising such a fuss, obviously, to maybe drive up the price. But that would be speculation. Hopefully it's going to get resolved. It's something that is needed.
I don't know if you can do it on your Samsung phones, but I know with the iPhones you could have an app called Find My Phone.
Yep.
That's been used to good effect this week.
Yeah, well, 2 instances. Basically, iPhone was stolen, and there was also a case of an iPad was stolen, and the police, using sort of modern technology, I guess, used the Find My iPhone app, and they tracked down the signal and arrested the perpetrator.
But he'd been a busy boy that day.
Yes, multiple thefts. But it's just a reminder, if you do have a smartphone, that there are these things available for you to. It's not the end of the world if it is stolen. There are ways to track it down.
Yeah. Although she should consider herself pretty lucky. I love the photo of her pointing at the man with the handcuffs on. It's him. It's him. It was a great photo. Another great photo from your team downstairs. Let's move on to another problem on the island. The smelly clongs. These used to be the canals that used to sort of ferry the little boats to the market and back, and now they're
literally fed the commerce of Phuket. And
not anymore.
No, people might not be aware, but Phuket town, originally the small clong that winds its way through there actually was much wider, almost a river. And boats used to come all the way from the sea, like Chinese junks, trading junks would come all the way off to the end of Phang Nga Road. Anyway, over the years they got filled in and concreted and basically just become like wastewater canals. And that is the issue now, that they've reached such a polluted state that the stench is unbearable. And we've got a great shot of the governor himself at one of these clongs, scrunching up his nose just because he can't stand the smell. Yeah.
Now, it's not only a newspaper, it's also a fantastic magazine in the middle called Life. And you spent a night or a day in Bangkok.
It was basically one night, one day. I went up, as I was saying before, to get passports for my newly born daughter. So she's actually able to travel. And I thought while I was there, I realised there were so many things you can see and do around the embassy district. They're all kind of centred around this one.
This is like Saton Road?
Wireless Road.
A Wireless Road, yeah.
There are a few down Saton Way, but mostly Wireless Road.
The good ones, like the Australian.
Yes. And so, I thought I'd put together a little piece on what you can see and do, including sort of there's a fantastic park, there's Muay Thai boxing, there's this very interesting old church, and there's a food court, a whole bunch of things, and so that's kind of this week's travel story.
It should be mentioned that you paid for your flights yourself.
I did indeed, yes. Yeah.
And the final story in Life this week, an interesting story about a Briton, probably won't be the first Briton that's come to Southeast Asia and suffered some sort of heat stress. Yeah. What's the story about this one?
Yeah, it's a British man, elderly British man, and him and his wife had come over to enjoy some sun and have a relaxing time. And one day he was in a wheelchair. The wife left him by the pool, as she'd done in several days. Came back a few hours later to pick him up, and found he was unconscious and basically passed out from sunstroke, like severe case of sunstroke. Rushed him to the hospital, and they said he could have died if he hadn't been discovered sooner. So it's just kind of maybe a reminder of the dangers of sunstroke, that no matter how young or old you are, the sun's rays are very strong. Use sensible precautions.
Okay, Simon, thank you very much for coming in. The Phuket News out on the stands now at over 600 locations, we're told. And only 20 baht.
Yes, that's it. It's a
great
bargain.
Investment. So the Phuket News out. Simon Ostheimer, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
That's Phuket in Focus on Phuket News TV. Thanks for joining us.
Phuket News TV is the island's newest source of news and information, and it's all in glorious high definition. Put yourself in the picture and expose your business to thousands of English-speaking viewers on the island. It's easy and probably more affordable than you think. Contact sales@classactmedia.co.th or call 076 612 550. Phuket News TV, putting you in the picture.